And we welcome you back to Viking Stadium. Coming up, it's Vicksburg and Warren Central in a district game. I never thought I would say that, Coach Lacey. I've been doing this thing a few years, and who would have thought Vicksburg and Warren Central in the same district in a big district game here about the midway point of the season. Of course, the Vikings coming off a big win over Ridgeland last week here, and Vicksburg High coming off a very tough loss last week up in Neshoba Central. Got to bounce back, though. Got to bounce back, and the Gators will try to do that here this evening. Charles Edmond, T.J. Mayfield, and Coach Chris Lacey. Coach, that was a tough one, man. I mean, you said it after the game. You know, just the second half runs. You know, we did it against Terry. We did it against Natchez. Couldn't quite do it against Neshoba.
Sometimes your luck gonna run out on you.
Yeah.
You know, I told him that before the game, like we can't go out here based on where we was and all the other stuff that went on. We just can't go out there and start off slow. It ain't gonna happen like this, especially when you're playing good teams. You know, they're gonna find ways to keep you out the end zone and capitalize on your mistakes. And we did exactly what we've been doing the past couple of weeks, and it bit us in the butt.
Do you think we made enough plays, as you look back on it, we made enough plays to win that game last week?
No. I think we messed up enough plays to lose it. So many times where it was just a block here, a block there, an eyeball here, eyeball there. We make a play, that team probably don't ever score. So that's just the stuff we got to clean up. Like I told them, it's just a discipline thing. We got all the talent in the world, because if there was any other team, we'd be a blowout. So we just got to get more discipline, and that fall on me again, and I got to fix it.
Ronnie Alexander went down in the play before the final play of the game. You went with DeCorey Knight on the Wildcat, and we'll talk about that. But, you know, that was tough. I mean, those last 30, 40 seconds of the game, I mean, you got just what you want. Ronnie goes down. He has to come out for a play. You know, on that 4th and 1, there was a couple of occasions in which we kind of came up short there. You know, talk about the operations and trying to clean that up, because I'm sure we'll be using that going forward.
It's just a block. I mean, we get a block, it's a touchdown both times. Just one block. I watched that part of the film 1,000 times. It's the same exact play we scored on in the 2-point conversion. We got the block. So if we get the block on that play, we had the look we wanted. I mean, Noon running straight into the end zone. So I'm confident in them doing their thing. It's just you got to execute the plays. A lot of people get caught up in play calling and stuff like that, but like in situations, you want to give your playmakers the ball, and then it's everybody else's job to do what they need to do. So
we see some different wrinkles. Ronnie Alexander, student body left, student body right. That has worked pretty well.
Yeah, Ronnie, since I've been knowing him, has been one of his assets is his feet. You know, and over the past couple of years, people really haven't seen him since he's been in high school run the ball as much. But, I mean, he's sitting at about 500 yard rushing now. So we're going to use his feet. We're going to use everything. We're going to squeeze all the juice out that lemon. So he like running. He said in the offseason, Coach, I want to, you know, put it on my back a little bit more. So we're going to do it.
For his size, you worry when you get out in space? I mean, because he's fair game out there. Are you worried with his size and some of the hits that he takes?
Well, the thing about Ronnie is you know, Ronnie might be a running back on the next level. And Ronnie has always been a kid who takes pride in the weight room. He didn't miss a day this summer in the weight room. I mean, Ronnie, 250, 260, 270 bench press guy, so I'm not worried about his body being able to take the licks. We hit him sometime in practice. So, I mean, he's been doing that since he was a Pee Wee player. So I'm confident in him being healthy and doing, and he know how to fall, he know how to go out of bounds. Ronnie know what he's doing, he's pretty smart, so I trust him.
Speaking of trusting, what about Tyler Henderson? You know, last time we were at Neshoba Central, they had a kid named Jarquez Hunter who had a punt kickoff return for a touchdown. He had an interception. You know, he was all over the field. That's what Tyler Henderson was last week. He was all over the field. He had you know, doing a good job on special teams, receiving, and then had an interception, kind of brought a little flashback. He was doing it all.
Yeah, he out Travis Hunter, I guess you could say. You know, you got to put the ball in his hands. Don't overthink that stuff sometimes. You know, get the ball to your playmakers and allow them to make plays. You know, that has nothing to do with me. We coach him up as far as technique, you know, mental part of the game, things like that. But when that ball hit his hand, that's God and genetics. So Tata is a really good player. He studies. All the time he watching film, so he understands who he playing. He just got to give him the ball.
Yeah, be put in the play. And DeCorey Knight, I mean, this was a game in which you had special teams. DeCorey Knight, the 65-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, a short kick, and I mean, early in the game last week, it was a bunch of scoring early on, not as much late, but we went toe for toe against one of the better district teams.
Well, like I said, we got the talent to go anybody, and that's all sports at Vicksburg. Like, we got great talent in the building, and on the football team, all the way down to our ninth graders, we got talent. It's just the discipline stuff that's gonna take us over the top. We losing big games due to discipline, and not discipline as far as behavior goes, but discipline as far as doing my job. Once we able to get that, then we be pretty good, and that just got a lot to do with ego and just taking the coaching.
Yeah, every coach, when you hear the phrase lack of discipline, so explain that to you. What does that mean to you? You just kind of broke it down. It's not the activity or actions, it's the other little stuff. How would you define the lack of discipline for you?
Well, I always call discipline as doing what you're supposed to do when you don't want to do it. And in our case, we got a lot of guys sometimes where you're supposed to get that block. I mean, that man might be bigger than you. He might be faster than you, whatever. I just need you to go out there and do your job. Even if you don't want to do it at that moment, you got to have that effort and that mental toughness to be able to get it done. And a lot of times, we had that. I mean, we had guys on their 4th and 1. I know I had a lineman, know he's supposed to be in a spot, and instead of him being there, he do something totally different. And we just can't have it. The plays that we do get that stuff, we're very successful. I saw that early in the game, so I expect it from the kids.
Very rarely do you see a 38-yard field goal in high school football. I mean, the ones who have the big leg got the big leg. We don't see that. I just didn't see that one coming. It just got through the upright.
Yeah, I mean, that kid made a play. I mean, with his foot, he missed the other 3 that he kicked that night. So I was liking our chances on him missing that one, but I mean, he just made a play. Big-time players make big-time plays. I guess he had amnesia. He forgot about the other ones, and he made a play. So shout out to that kid, but we should never been in that position. I tell him a lot of times the way we play can allow us to avoid different positions and being in the game. So, I mean, we had 2 4th and 2s in the game. We had 3rd and longs all night long, 2nd and longs where guy just had his eye in the wrong spot. Somebody didn't go in their pass rush lane. Stuff like that. So that's the stuff we got to clean up.
We're talking with Vicksburg High Coach Chris Lacey here as we get ready for Warren Central, a big game, big district game coming up. You talked about special teams. The 2-point conversion, we got that, the PATs. Where are you on the special teams, especially after touchdowns?
Well, I don't like to kick those field goals sometimes on that grass because a lot of times people have been wetting the grass before we go play a football game. But I'm confident in Blackmo kicking the ball. Even at the end, if we would have got in his range, I would have tried it. I'd have let him kick it. I mean, he didn't kick from, a pretty good distance in practice where I'm confident in him kicking games. Some nights with this season, we have let Blackmo kick, and he's done a tremendous job of giving us 7 and, things of that nature. So in the punt game, we punted one that ended landing on the 1.
Yeah.
So we've been doing a great job on special teams as far as our punt return and punt block, kick return. It's something we took pride in this offseason, so we just got to keep going.
What was the message to your team after that tough loss?
Discipline. That's all we talked about all week. Doing your job, doing what you're supposed to do. That's our only problem. I mean, we had tackling issues at the beginning of the year. We've done a tremendous job of fixing those. Red Carpet Bowl, we didn't score a touchdown. We've done a good job of putting ourselves on the scoreboard. So I know that it's coming, and I know discipline is something that has to be taught every day because we got such a young team in certain places, especially on defense. So can't get too frustrated about it. Just got to keep coaching.
The game, obviously, we're without some players due to what happened against Yazoo. You think that made a difference?
I would like to think that it would have, but, I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but, next man up mentality, everybody know the plays, everybody practice the same stuff every day in practice. So our JV was undefeated, like I said, so I got confidence in them doing their thing. It ain't like in the show, but just manhandled us or anything like that. So, again, it's just more so getting in there doing what you're supposed to do. And I know that's hard for young guys sometimes because they're still learning. I mean, some people forget to take the trash out some days. But it's no excuse. We got to do our jobs and do what we're supposed to do.
Well, you have another week to do your job, and there's a big one here. Vicksburg and Warren Central in the same district. Again, I never thought 5-6 years ago that would be the case, but that is now the case. And you are probably one of the more astute when it comes to this rivalry. So educate me a little bit on this rivalry, Coach.
Well, of course, you know.
What is it that I'm not seeing? What is it that I don't know?
Well,
you don't know, you don't know.
well, you don't know.
Explain to me what I don't know about this rivalry.
I got a lot of mixed emotions about the stuff. You know, of course, I played football at Warren Central. I played up under Coach the Morgans, but I'm also, my family played at Vicksburg, so, you know, I've been in it since I was born. Some people call it a rivalry. Right now, I don't call it a rivalry. You know, I explained my team the other day. I said, y'all, they got us 34-8 total out of 42 meetings. In my opinion, you know, some people give me flack for that, but I said that's not too much of a rivalry. If we was talking basketball or something like that, then, you know, I would give it that. But I kind of also said that to let our kids know, like, we're not going out there just to put rivalry on the wall. We got to earn us some respect. We got to get us some wins. We got to change the trajectory of where our program going. You know, treat it just like a regular game. If you get caught up in all the rivalry stuff and who did what back in 1993 and all of that, it's going to cloud your judgment. We need to focus on what it is that's our problem, and that's the discipline deal. The same division, when I was coming up, Vicksburg and Warren Central was in the same division. Game was the last game of the year, and honestly, back then, it used to come down to probably us on who was going to win the district or not, and Warren Central would always have the upper hand. So I kind of look at it, you know, I showed them a video of Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson, you know. People used to talk about all the time, Mike Tyson walking to the ring, he'll have you beat before you actually got to fight him. And I think that's been the thing in the Vicksburg Warren Central game for the longest. Like, you see them coming and you automatically kind of change who you are, what you do. Well, we're going to be us. You know, we go out on the field, we're going to play Vicksburg ball and just give them our best shot.
So their game last week against Richland, they won 38-6. Wide receiver Lynch had 2 touchdowns, rushing and receiving touchdowns. They kind of broke it open early on. Nash Morgan, their quarterback, the son of their head coach, Josh Morgan. So what do you see in this Warren Central team? They're kind of tussling a little bit early on in the season, seem to have found some things. What do you see in this Warren Central team?
They got a really good defense. I think they're giving up like 10 points a game right now, which is one of those top in the state type of margins, you know, be in. You can keep opponents to 10 points a game, you win a lot of football games. So that's going to be a challenge in itself, going up against that defense. That front four is nasty. That's going to be fun to see how our guys compete with them. The Lynch kid, he's a big old kid. The tight end position in Mississippi, to me, is kind of extinct. So to have a guy like him creates a matchup issue because he's so big and tall. He can run routes. He got like a Gronkowski type of body to him. So just trying to game plan for him. Zero, we got a receiver, Zero. He's really good, long ball guy. And then the quarterback, he's not going to make too many mistakes. Coach's son, I guess, and I think that's the coach's son. But he, I mean, if you live in the house with Coach, you know, you ain't got a choice but to be pretty smart in what's going on. I mean, your uncle's the coordinator, so he kind of should be, you know, ready to go when it comes to the game. So they're a good team. They remind me of Neshoba. To me, I told our team they're a carbon copy of Neshoba. And what I mean by that is like they're not gonna make too many mistakes. And the mistakes you make are the ones that are gonna get you beat. So if we go out there with our talent and sure up some discipline issues, we got a shot.
When you talk about all the talking back and forth, you say a rivalry, but you have 2 schools 10 minutes apart in the same city. It's almost, regardless of what region,
right.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to, you know, make it a rivalry.
Yeah,
I mean, I've only been here a few years,
right,
so
right.
I don't know,
right.
but it just on the surface, just from afar, it just seems like it's just a natural.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, when I say not a rivalry or is a rivalry, I mean it's a rivalry. It's Vicksburg Warren Central. You know, you want to beat them. I understand that aspect of it, but you know, my message to our kids was they got us 34-8 games. You know what I'm saying? So if we continue to have this mentality going into it, it ain't gonna help us out none.
Yeah.
We gotta go earn us some respect. We gotta make them know that the school across town is not a team that you beat 34 times in history. You know, once upon a time, people weren't even talking about Clemson. You know, and now Clemson one of the higher up teams in the country, and nobody even remembers Clemson's history.
Yeah. That's
what I mean. You know, let's at some point let's restart this line and create a new, you know, a new field for our program to where none of that stuff matters. You know, let's go win 8 straight times. You know, the next 8 years, and then nobody will be thinking about any of that stuff. So we got to compete. We got to get competitive in the series. I mean, it's point-wise over the 42 years, it's what 28-8 as far as scoring goes. So we only scored 8 points. Got to put some points on the board. Got to play some defense.
Yeah, well, now wasn't it one year? It was like a 4-point game. It was a close. One of the games was close.
And we've been competing. I mean, we was 17-0 COVID year. We was 7-6 year before that, and then last year it was 22-18. But for me, that ain't good enough. You know, I'm tired of going home and sitting on the bed saying, what could we have done differently? You know, I want them to know that, like, we're coming to win the game. Like, we're just not coming out there to have a whole bunch of people in the stadium. And, no, we want to win the game. And that's the point. Like, I want to be my old coaches. Like, I want to win, and I know they want to win. So that's what we're going there to do.
One thing about this rivalry I do notice around town, this game gets talked about all year. It's not like you put it on the shelf, all right, we'll talk about it next summer. No, it's going to be talked about next week, 2 months from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 months from now, 3 weeks from now. It gets talked about the whole year up until the next game.
All right, you're going to circle it. I mean, in this circle, I mean, they got our number with our 7th grade game, our 8th grade game, and our 9th grade game this year. You know, and that sucks because I know we got really good talent in both areas. So, like I say, good just ain't good enough for me. So me as the head coach and being over all of this, we got to change it. And, you know, honestly, it started with our varsity. So we're going to try to go out there and take care of business.
And this is a big game as far as trying to make the postseason because you're already 1 in the hole in district. You want to go 2 in the hole, and then all of a sudden you got some must-win games. You got a trip to Columbus coming up. You know, got some other games coming up. So this one, you know, you want to get back on level.
And I think that kind of the kids, I heard some of the kids talking about that, you know, how they probably thought they ruin their chances at winning district and all of this type of stuff. But you can't worry about all that down the road. You got to focus on the next game, focus on your job, focus on what you're supposed to do. You beat Warren Central, now we back 1-1, you know, and then Neshoba plays Warren Central next week, you know, and hopefully, you know, Warren Central at that point we'll be rooting for Warren Central to do their thing if we could get a win out this week. So in order for us not to dig that hole any deeper, we got to go ahead and take care of business Friday to put ourselves back in, you know, the hunt.
I know you don't have anything to do with it, but when the realignments occurred and you saw Vicksburg and Warren Central in the same district, and I was shocked, what did you think?
I got excited. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. You know, it's cool to have that. It makes the game more important. You know, I feel like playing them the second game of the year the past couple of years, rivalry game, but, you know, after it's over, you don't really think about it no more. You know, but now it means more because we all trying to fight for a district championship. You know, we also trying to fight for a championship in this city. I think it's a trophy for this game that they have now that Vicksburg never had. Like, the trophy's never been over here, so that's a goal. We want all the trophies we can get. We didn't get the one in the Red Carpet Bowl, so we got an opportunity to win 3 more, and this is one we can get.
Coach, let's go get them, man.
Yes, sir.
It should be interesting. What's Chris Lacey's emotions as we get ready for kickoff? Hey, I'm sure his blood's really churning right about now. I'm sure he'll be excited when it's over if the Gators get this one. We'll take a timeout here, play-by-play, coming up from Viking Stadium after this timeout.